All right. I'm here. So, hey, Kelsey, just, another game where your team battled. Just what do you think was kind of the difference to make up those 7 points that you needed to, get that first win?
I think a couple of things. I thought we had some yeah, a couple of careless turnovers, honestly, that we probably and they scored 16 points off of our turnovers. I thought, we really fought back towards the end in the rebounding war. I thought we started out not rebounding as hard as we needed to. We missed four free throws. But I thought there were a few stretches, especially in that first, I'd say probably the second quarter when we weren't as efficient on offense because we weren't getting as many paint touches and spraying it as much as we needed to. I think just kind of we didn't get into the flow fast enough.
Yeah, no, it was one of those games that, if y'all shoot at your, kind of season averages, you probably win the game. Just do you think that was just a matter of you just weren't making shots, or was the shot selection something that you weren't like? How'd you just feel about the shots?
I thought some of our shot selection wasn't as good as it needed to be. I thought we settled a few times for, maybe a good or an average shot when we could have probably got a better shot or a great shot. And I think that's something we have to continue to focus on. I thought in the last couple of weeks, we've really done better with that. But, it's a 40-minute game. We have to stay the course and make sure we're executing at a high level for 40 entire minutes.
Another game where Talia and Emily just come up big for you. Obviously, you've been around them together for a while now. What do you think's making them, as the season progresses, kind of start to round into that form where they're really at their strength?
They do know the offense, they know the system, and they know my expectations. So I think that they're just continuing to get better and better and continuing to just run the offense the way it needs to be ran for the most part. Like I said, we still have some glitches and we still have some moments where we have to share it better, but they understand, and I think that that's really helping them, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now, which is definitely half the battle.
Liv McGill, obviously one of the better guards in the country. Just what makes her, two assists away from triple double, such a, great player.
Well, she requires so much attention. When the ball's in her hand, she can really score. She can get downhill. She can really shoot the three, but her mid range is phenomenal. So I think the biggest thing is she draws so much attention. She can score at all three levels at a high rate, but she's also one of the best passers. So when she draws that attention and you have to collapse, she can find the open person because she's a true PG.
Yeah, and then O'Neal, obviously, she starts the game knocking down a couple threes. I guess what was kind of was the strategy to pack it in there and just make them make shots, or kind of what? Because I think they came into the game maybe 30% or so 3 point.
Yeah, their three-point percentage wasn't isn't the best right now, but at the same time they're capable of making them. We are aware of that, but at the same time you got to sometimes pick your poison. And at the end of the day, we had to pack it in, try to get McGill to dish it and try to get a good closeout. We're also closing out, giving up some inches too, and they did. They came out hot. They hit some threes early. They hit a couple of threes in transition, but I felt like we were able to combat that because we were still able to make more threes than them.
Yeah, and then O'Neal just how tough is she to try and contain?
Do what now?
Uh, Trying to contain O'Neal, just what type of matchup problems does she pose?
I think she's long. She can play inside and out. So obviously, when you're 6'4" and you can shoot the three, you can post up. She can get in that pick and roll action, the pick and slip. It is a slight mismatch problem for us, but I thought overall we did a really good job of trying to contain her around the rim. I thought, we obviously gave up some offensive rebounds that we wouldn't want to, but we're also giving up inches. I thought second quarter, especially in the third and fourth, we did a much better job really trying to get in position to get better rebounds, especially when we also went to the zone quite a bit to try to pack it in and kind of, force them to make some shots. And, there were a few times they made big shots, but that's part of the game. Sometimes players got to make plays and you got to make big shots.
Obviously, we know that Bonnie is a great rebounder, had 14, but then you look and, Harmony had six, Emily had five. Just how much right now is it needing to be a collective guard effort to clean up the glass?
I think it's imperative right now because in most games we're giving up inches. I've got Emily Robinson, who's definitely not 6'4", guarding 6'4" out the gate. So when you give up inches, I think if she keeps her man off the bench, then it allows a guard to hopefully go get that rebound. So we've got to continue to focus on really doing a good job of positioning ourselves to push back. And then we've got to go snag those rebounds, but it's got to be a collective effort. In most situations, we are giving up some inches. And so we really have to focus on, helping each other, getting every rebound that we have the opportunity, and staying fundamentally sound to the best of our ability.
And then last thing I want to ask is just not to just, beat the dead horse, but y'all are fighting and getting so close. What do you think it'll take to, come out on top in some of these close games like you've had the past two?
We got to make shots. I think being more efficient at our offense. So I think being more efficient at our offense, continuing to make less scout errors and less mistakes, making sure we're all on the same page, and then shrinking our turnovers. Tonight we had 19. That's too many turnovers if you want to win a close game. And then, players got to make plays and make big shots. So I think, overall, there's a few things we can definitely clean up. But no matter what, to get that first victory, there's a very small room for error. The margin for error is very small. So we have to continue to fight, continue to grind, bring the energy and effort, but we've got to put a 40-minute game together and limit our mistakes.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan.